Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Kathy Panis, the Finance Director, and we've had approximately a little under 15 hours of discussion and through workshops on our budget, so we will go through this and gather any public comment. So basically, this is just a list of the different workshops that we have had, the most recent being the actual City Council meeting, where we discussed our last set of topics, which is the capital improvement budget, the updated citywide budget, which it has not changed. The presentation tonight has not changed since May 27th. And so I'll just go on. The next step is our public hearing on May 26th, and then budget adoption on June 8th. So just to summarize a little bit of the facts about this budget, we always do like to point out that our sales tax rate is 8.25%. It's one of the lowest in the whole state, or especially in our metro area. 4.5% of that goes to the state of Oklahoma, and 3.75% of that stays in Edmond. In November of 2025, Edmond voters did approve two propositions to extend temporary sales tax, and there were two of them. One of them was 1% of our 2 cents sales tax that goes into our general fund, and the other one was a 0.5% sales tax that goes into capital improvement projects. Effective, it's about $35 million for those two extensions, so we do thank our voters for supporting us in that. On April 1st of 2027, the capital improvement project sales tax that was extended will be exclusively dedicated to street repairs and improvements. And then it will be a new fund that you will see, which will be called the 2027 CIP fund versus the 2017 CIP fund, and that's really just to make sure that we keep it separate from any reserves that we still have remaining in the 2017 will be spent according to what we had said we were going to spend it on. Right now, too, our general fund unassigned fund balance is at 8.35%, which is unchanged from our last presentation. And we have forecasted sales tax at 0% growth next year, 4% use tax growth, and 1% all other revenue. And right now, as of our May check in sales and use tax, we are up 1.46%, which is about $1.4 million. So hopefully it will come in higher than we budgeted, and we'll be able to use that accordingly. So this is a recap. It was what was presented at our last City Council meeting, but our budget this year is $485,340,001. And it is no change from the April 27th City Council meeting. Kind of go through this. We did do this before, but it is up 17.5% over the adopted budget for 26. It's $72 million. The main drivers of that are in the Edmond Public Works, it went up about $36 million, which is, we did some economic development incentives of $17 million. That's a big driver, and there is more water debt that was issued. So that is one of the main drivers. And also in other enterprise funds, which is CityLink, Your Gov Shop, and Golf, it went up about $1 million, which isn't too much, but it is 18% of that group. And then our capital budget went up about 35%, $28 million. Most of that is water of about $19 million, and then the Covell Parkway CIP improvement of about $3 million was added. So let's see, let's go. So the revenue side, excuse me, the governmental side was up, negligibly, but 6.75% for revenue estimates. EPWA is up about 28%, mainly from water drainage, and electric. The water rates were approved to be increased, so that's part of the driver there. And then let's see, our other enterprise funds went up about 15%, and a lot of that's Golf and CityLink that did have some transfers. So just to conclude, the budget is complete, other than we did have our contractual increases for our union employees are not in this budget. They're not settled yet. So that will be coming as a budget amendment at some point whenever those are settled. And then there are organizational changes going on right now, which really shouldn't affect the overall budget, but it will affect what department it is in. They're just different groupings. But those will all be coming to you separately. So just to point out again, 2027 CIP fund will be actually a new fund. So by adopting this budget, you are approving that we have that new fund. Development services will be a new group, and then marketing, downtown, and tourism will be a new group. More to come, but that's what we know about right now. The Fund Structure and Budget Reform Committee that met for about 6 months this year, we did implement a whole new format, so it's a different look this year. And thank you to everybody, our citizens and our council members and our Budget Reform Committee that had input into that. So it's just been a big change, but it will be available online. Hopefully this will really help our public to be able to see all the detail that goes into our budget. And it's pretty much available now. I don't think it's quite live, but after we adopt, it will soon be available online. And just some projects that are coming that we all kind of have talked about it, but we are simplifying our fund structure. So that's going to be this year-long process as well, where we're trying to reduce the number of funds that we have and group them together in a more meaningful way, that type of thing. We're going to eliminate our cost accounting type of allocations, so we'll be reworking that. And the new fund structure will be used for our 28 budget. So as we go through, we're going to be seeking input from council as well and making sure that it's what you are understanding that you're wanting to see and that type of thing, and the public too. So I think now, yes, so now we have our HR director, Caroline Pierce, that will present new positions.
Thank you, Ms. Panis. We'll see you in just a second for questions.
Yeah.
Ms. Pierce?
Okay. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Caroline Pierce, Human Resources Director. Just reviewing what you should already be familiar with a little bit about our proposed new positions, some reclassifications, and then the proposed organizational charts for the new fiscal year. 3 major reorganizations that are being proposed and will be presented at the next council meeting for approval is reorganizing building and safety department sections to create what they call development services. It is taking a little bit of engineering, a little bit of planning, and the building and safety departments to create basically a one working unit that takes, Kirsten can probably put it in better words than I can, but basically from application of development all the way to the end. So it's a little bit more organized and communication is enhanced. The next reorganizing is taking the marketing department as well as Visit Edmond and merging them to work together as a larger team for the purpose of marketing, downtown, tourism. With the retirement of Bill Begley, the marketing manager, this was an opportunity to look at that and how we perform those functions. The last change is basically taking the purchasing agent and redirect them back to the finance department to report to the finance director as it was before it was altered last February to report to the assistant city manager. This is a very rough draft of basically the organizational chart showing the overall picture, starting with the citizens all the way down to the main operations of the department. You should have a copy of all the detailed organizational charts with annotations on if it's a reorganization, a reclassification, a new position. Any questions about the organizational chart right now?
Questions for Ms. Pierce?
Very good. This is a review again of the positions that were requested for this year. There is a total of 21 positions, primarily in the electric department and in water resources, with growth of services as well as planning for succession, building up basically services so that there's backups and a venue for extended services. Reclassifications, there's a total of 9 reclassifications, and what that basically is doing is taking positions that already exist and already have a person in there and adding job responsibilities to them or reorganizing them to, for example, marketing, downtown, and tourism to merge with other operations. What we'll be bringing to you for the next council meeting is basically approving these organizational changes, the org chart changes, as well as changing the ordinance for the purchasing agent to be directed back to the finance department. Any questions?
Questions for Ms. Pierce? Mr. Manager, you have anything?
No, sir.
Great, thank you.
Ms. Panis? Thank you, Ms. Pierce.
So we just want to thank everyone. Our council members, thank you for all the help that you give us. Our citizen input, we've had a lot of citizen input this year, and we appreciate it. And it's been a lot of change this year, but I think it's all been good, and we're going to keep working on it. And we just really appreciate all the input. So please keep it coming. And if you have any questions, our city manager, AJ Krieger, is available. You can call me or Matt Newcomb, our budget manager, and we will be glad to walk you through any questions that you have. Anything else?
Well, we don't know. Just sit tight. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Are there questions or comments from council? Mr. Frame?
I just have one. Kathy, it's kind of picky, but you accountants, you and Matt love picky stuff, I know. So when you summarized what yesterday and Sunday when looking at this, 72 million increase in the total budget. But then I saw, as you said, 36 million and 29 million in the EPWA and capital budget debt service, basically, as we expand things, and which comes out to about 65 million. So that's 65 of the 72. And then if you look further on the revenue section, 96 in the booklet, it's interesting. I thought, well, this is pretty good because we have 58 million in additional revenue within the EPWA primarily. But then I looked and I wasn't quite as excited when I noticed that 37 million of that is fund balance and net transfers, which in my world, that doesn't count as revenue. So I don't know if we footnote that anywhere. That seems like what accountants would want to do. But that's not a revenue if we're moving from reserves or from other funds, right?
Right. A lot of that's going to be loan proceeds as well because we have it's EPWA building too. But yes, we could note that. So
just dampened my excitement, I guess I should say.
Mr. Watterson?
Some of that was saving up reserves, knowing that we were going to have big bills coming on the water plant. I just want to reinforce the new format, that we've implemented a lot of positive changes in the process, reiterating what you said. Thanks to staff for supporting that and for making things more clear this year. Hopefully, if citizens are watching or reading the packet or going online to look at the budget book this year, it'll be a little more understandable than it was a year ago. We made a lot of effort to try to make it more clear what's going on. It's still complicated. I think where we ended up with the budget is a good place, relatively flat, given what Councilman Frame just said, relatively flat. The numbers are skewed by capital and public works. We're using some reserves here and there, which is not ideal, but a pretty good spot, I think, all things considered, and a responsible balance for the community. So appreciate everybody who pitched in this year on the process.
Councilwoman, you have anything? Mr. Mayor, I know you probably have a lot to say. I know you're a little limited, but do you have anything?
I'll do my best. Just to reinforce where Preston has already gone, but this is such a step forward for us. Slide 6 that you presented, for the first time that I can remember, you can actually look and see what is governmental services versus EPWA. And then, of course, we still have that other enterprise, which is CityLink, golf primarily, right? we're getting there. And, I mean, we took a huge step forward with our budget reform committee this year. We're still working on the fund piece. And as we finish cleaning up our fund structure and dealing with the issues that causes pain associated with the transfers, when we get those unnecessary transfers out of the way, Mr. Frame, I think you'll be a little bit more excited again, because we have this habit of taking money and moving it and then moving it, and it looks like it's money when it's not. But we're working on that. So, I mean, I think we've gone about as far as we can go in 12 months. The next 12 months, I think, will be really exciting as we get to a point where we can actually look and come back here, hopefully next year, and we're presenting department by department and rolling all that up into governmental services, and then EPWA rolled up into what we see there, and then our capital budget, so that we truly can show our citizens within each of those three categories a very clear picture. Huge step forward. I'm excited for the next year. So thank you to you and your staff.
I do have something I want to say. Thank you. Thank you all to staff for doing what you've been asked to do and for upholding transparency. That's municipal government is transparent. I think the city of Edmond does a great job, and I appreciate my fellow council members for the questions and just the focusing in. And but I do just want to thank staff for your hard work and for all the time, and thanks to our city manager also for guiding us. And I think you all have done a great job of what you've been asked to do, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Item 4C. Item 4 is discussion and consideration of potential amendments to the proposed budget in fiscal year 26-27. Are there any amendments to the budget? All righty. Ms. Panis, thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much. Yes, we made a lot of progress, and I appreciate it. So.
Thank you and your team and everyone else.
Okay, thanks.